Well, welcome back to another episode of Press Play. In today's episode, we're actually going to be talking about some of the stuff that's going on in boxing. We got our boy Pacquiao coming back.
Oh, he's definitely coming back, which is crazy. How old is he now? I don't even know
Man,
how old he is.
he's definitely in his 40s, for sure.
He he's got to be more than 40 to be.
He's got to be like 48, somewhere in that ballpark. Maybe in his 50s. I don't know. It's a great question.
Yeah, that is a great question. I
He's
don't know if we're
pushing
gonna keep this
50.
little piece, but yeah, he's definitely got to be up in the 50s, which is crazy work.
Yeah, he's definitely pushing 50.
Manny Pacquiao was born in 1978, December 17th of 1978, making this man
Yeah, like 48, 49, 50,
46 years old.
46.
Okay.
46. Oh,
Yeah.
Still
I
old for
mean,
fighting.
It's not that bad, but that's the oldest shit.
it, it's old for fighting for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't really know who he's fighting. It's a no name guy, you know.
I know
Um,
he's a good kid. He's a very I forget it. I was at
yeah, but it all depends. So I'm gonna be honest with you, and these are things that I didn't know about Manny Pacquiao that I know now. Um, so Manny Pacquiao, before he got tested for steroids, right, was knocking everybody out,
yep.
sleeping, slumping people,
Yeah.
and then he got tested for the steroids, got caught with the steroids, and got off of it or whatever with the
And we're
when he
still
fought
sleeping
Floyd,
niggas.
Nah,
he
he
was
wasn't sleeping
not.
on them.
No,
That's
after
the
that, he
crazy
was
thing.
still sleeping niggas, though.
No, so no, let me explain the whole story. He was not sleeping people. He went years without knocking nobody out, winning decisions. The only fight that he actually knocked somebody out was when it was out of the United States and they fought somewhere. Yeah, brother,
I'll
look it
give you
up.
I'll give you a
No,
fight.
he's Otto's right. Otto's right.
The fight that he had with Margarito. It was by KO. He knocked him out. They had to end the fight. Not only did he knock him out, he broke his orbital bone, damn near ending his career for good. He ended up ending his career because
That was
did
that
you?
was that was before the
No puede ser, eso fue después.
yeah. No, I'm telling you, que no,
That
Bobby.
was steroids.
He is. I know you love him. I can see it already. You're one of those guys, right? But he's not the greatest boxer, brother. Matter of fact,
No, I don't. I
I,
don't. I don't think
I'm gonna
he
give
is. I
you.
don't think he
I'm
is.
gonna give
You
you a
know who I
this or
like?
that. I'm gonna give you a this or that. Manny Pacquiao, or Floyd Mayweather Jr. And if you don't pick Floyd, you
Floyd all
tripping,
day.
brother.
Floyd.
Oh,
I'll give you. I'll make it even easier for you. Juan Manuel Marquez
hmm
is my favorite lightweight fighter. My
The
favorite.
PP drinker.
I like him. I like him over Pacquiao just because
Did
he's
you like
such
when
a
he drink
pure.
pee?
He's a pure boxer, bro. His style of boxing is beautiful, bro. I mean, and he's a master of the art. Look at what he did to Pacquiao. The way he studied how Pacquiao steps in when he throws that. Damn near had an earthquake here. The way Pacquiao steps in and throw that over, right? Bro, by the way, me acabo de dar tremendo cantazo en la rodilla otra vez con el play.
my boy's gonna be bleeding out the knees, boy.
But the way he knocked Pacquiao out in that fight was just a masterpiece, bro.
My thing
Masterpiece, man.
is, my this is where I have an issue, right? I'm tired of seeing these boxers, right? These old boxers come to fight these young guys and get beat up. This is sanctioned abuso. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be honest with you. If I told you, yo, a 22-year-old beat the shit out of a 46-year-old, what would you say? Chacho,
Yeah.
un abusador.
Es un
He's a
cabrón.
he's a bastard, right? But we're actually sanctioning this. This is just like the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight.
Yep.
Mike was 60 fighting Jake Paul that's 28. Come on, bro. You got a guy that's in his prime and you're this is literally a senior citizen that we sanctioned to watch. And everybody in the world, including myself, watch this old man get beat to shit
But let's be honest.
for
Let's be honest,
fucking
Heido.
6 rounds.
Because we all saw the how rigged that fight was. Like you could
So
tell he wanted to actually hit him and he had to hold back.
Yeah,
We
but
have
you saw
hope.
the same thing with Jake Paul, buddy. There was times where you saw where he
That's
hit
true.
him, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom,
yeah, that's
and
true.
you
And
saw
he
Mike
back off. Yeah,
stumble, and he would go back. All right, we got to make this entertainment. But I'm gonna be honest with you, he knocks Mike out in first, second round. And
I
it's
agree. I
because
agree. Yeah, he's
it's
old,
because
bro.
he's an old man. It's not because it's not Mike Tyson, but the
I
man is 60.
I enjoyed seeing him versus Roy Jones more than seeing him fight Jake Paul
Well, it
because it
was more
was
his speed. It was more his speed. Roy is not 60, but he's in his 40 something, 50 something,
he's like
Versus
58, I think, something like
yeah,
that. Right
versus
there in his
Jake Paul is in his prime, 28, 29-year-old kid.
yeah, bro.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Um, so we're watching these sanctions abusos. So old people, and we're cool. We're like, and I guarantee we're
Mira
all probably
quién
gonna watch it.
llegó.
You know what I mean? Hey,
Yo te lo
Fran,
estoy
dímelo.
descargando. ¿Qué hay?
¿Qué?
Estamos hablando de boxeo, brother.
Estamos
We
hablando
talking about
de
some boxing.
la mamá de la mamá de la mamá de la mamá.
Eso sí sé.
Yeah,
Ey,
you
este
want to know the
marico se ve
crazy thing?
flaco, cabrón, ¿o soy yo?
Skinny, papá.
That's skinny, papá.
Me acabaron la jeringa.
No, eso, Jairo estaba hablando de que él está cansado ya de ver el abuso de que they sanction fights con boxeadores viejos y boxeadores
Yeah.
que son más jóvenes.
Yeah, like right now what we were really talking about was that Manny Pacquiao, no sé si tú reconoces a Manny Pacquiao.
Claro, el
He's
indio.
46. He's 46 and he's about to fight again. Salió de retirado para pelear otra vez, like, and he's fighting a kid, so it's like, chacho, tú vas a pelear otra vez después de viejo. We allowing
46.
old men to get beat up by these young guys, and everybody tunes in to watch it. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna watch it too. I'm
To
gonna
be
be one
fair,
of those guys.
his
Él no
last
se había lanzado a alcalde, a gobernador, a presidente,
Sí,
algo así.
de los filipinos. He
él
is.
se lanzó a ¿cómo que se llama eso? Congressman.
No,
Sin
he's-
embargo, él se
no,
llama
no, creo que era
él se llama
como alcalde.
Congressman Pacquiao.
yeah, but he was like the mayor of that whole shit.
He became the mayor?
Some shit like that.
No, joder, no sabía eso.
He became like. Remember, he was giving away his money, but
He was,
he
bro.
was for fighting for the Philippines, for real.
But to be fair, though, his last fight before retirement, he won. And he looked pretty sharp. I'm not going to say he looked good, but he looked sharp at his age. I was like, okay, he doesn't look like Mayweather in his 50s. I'll tell you that.
He's also 46, my brother.
Yeah.
He's
I do-
46 years old.
I do want to bring un tema a la mesa. What is who would you say was your biggest disappointment of a fighter who had such a promising career and just vanished?
It
That
depends
had
what you mean
that-
on vanish, though, because some of them have good wins and then
Goku.
Gone. He just
So I'm gonna give you somebody, and I know what happened to him, and it was a pena because this was more of promoters than anything else. I believe when Tito Trinidad fought Fernando Vargas. Fernando Vargas was a kid,
Fernando
20-year-old.
Burgers.
He was a 21-year-old kid. Él
Yeah.
acababa de empezar su carrera, and they put him against a 29 fit Tito Trinidad in his prime,
knocked
beating
him
the fuck out of.
bro.
Not only did he knock him out, to me, él aflojó la quijada ese chamaco.
Yeah.
Because after that, he wasn't the same. He was getting knocked out left and right after that.
Vargas tried to say that Trinidad had something in his gloves.
I seen that recently, yeah. Que tenía
Yeah.
yeso.
Yeah,
He
it's
pulled
punching power.
yeah.
That's what that's called. Knockout power.
Y
Well,
tú,
you could
Crunch,
say
¿quién
the
tú
same
dices?
thing. You could say the same thing about Zab Judah too, but I don't. There's a few Zab Judah, Mir Khan, they had good careers, but like fell off would have been Ricky Hatton.
No, Ricky Hatton was trash, Poppy. Everybody knocked Ricky Hatton out.
Yeah,
if
but
you wanted a knockout on your record, you would request to fight Ricky Hatton.
Yeah, for sure. He was bad.
I got one. What's his name? No, Winky Wright was a champion. There was a few that.
Winky Wright was good.
The African dude that knocked out Roy Jones. After that, he had like one fight and then he
Oh,
lost.
what was his name?
Tarver
Tarver,
was one of them. Yeah,
Antonio
Tarver,
but no,
Tarver.
Tarver.
no, El Otro, the African that he beat Roy, won the belt. Y después he lost and nobody knows what happened to him.
I can't remember that guy's name. I think I know who you're talking about, Crunch.
Yeah.
But
Nah,
Tarver got
the one that knocked out Roy first and before
was
anybody
Tarver.
and put my boy's chin to absolute putty was Antonio Tarver. Knocked him
Yeah.
out. Put him
Hey,
night night.
but Paul Williams, he put that work on Tarver, bro. Then he
Yeah,
ended
he
up getting
did.
knocked out after he hit his peak. He got knocked out by Sergio Martinez, who was a dying star at the time. That was the knockout of the century, bro. That guy looked dead. I mean, he was
Sergio
on the floor,
Martinez
eyes just.
Cotto
Well, I'm gonna
beat
keep
Sergio
it.
Martinez's ass.
Well, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. To me, boxing, the heavyweight boxing died out to me.
It did,
The
yeah.
only thing that's carrying boxing right now, and it's sad to say, is like Canelo Alvarez, and then you got Terrence Crawford. Which I'm gonna be honest with you, you said
Crawford
something
was good.
about boxing. I love watching Crawford fight.
Yeah,
His
but
boxing is fire. Like he doesn't just box where I'm moving. He's moving and hitting. He's moving where I'm gonna try to knock you out, but I'm gonna make sure you're not gonna hit me while I'm trying to knock you out.
I'm
So
calling it
his
right now.
boxing style is tough.
Crawford's gonna beat Canelo.
I don't know about that, Crunch. So
I'm
here's
calling
the
it.
thing, Crunch. The thing is, Bud has to go
Canelo.
up. Bud has to go up to 170.
Yeah, he has to go two-weight division.
One
That's the saving grace.
170 versus Canelo's already at that weight. So he has to go up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo,
No, I agree.
which it could happen where it gets to be like Rolly, because Rolly went up to 147 to fight Ryan Garcia, and that boy looked stocky like a
Yeah.
motherfucker, and he was hitting that boy with power shots.
And
Like,
you gotta look at the time
well, he
frame. You
dropped him.
got that's September 12th. What month are we in?
May. So you
May.
got
So
4
June,
months.
July, August, 4 months. He could, and you already tell he's putting on weight. So he got. It's gonna be a great fight, and I think that's gonna, from what I was reading, that's gonna be the new boxing promotion's first fight. That TKO shit. That's
Yeah.
from WWE and all that shit. So it's gonna be their first big promotion, like their big, spectacle.
To bring it back to that question, Franken, tú dices que fue uno de los boxeadores para ti que, bueno, no sé si tú en verdad viste boxeo así, pero
He's gonna talk
que
about
En
Carlos
realidad
Alves.
en realidad nunca seguí mucho el boxeo. Sí, quizás vi alguna que otra pelea, pero de verdad que ahorita no recuerdo quiénes eran los que estaban peleando ni nada de eso son.
Jairo, I
para
got a
mí,
venezolano, Valdemar.
para mí, para mí es...
Tú me preguntas ahorita, como que, mira, dime un boxeador venezolano y no te sé decir ninguno. No sé si hay. Bueno,
No, verá, yo digo, uno de los boxeadores para mí que tenía un estilo, mano, un estilo bien lindo, brother,
Ay.
te digo, un estilo bien puro de boxeo, bro. I love boxing style like that. Boxers that are real pure to the style. Te cabrón. Yo digo Amir
Tú como que
Khan,
lo quieres
bro.
mucho, ¿no?
Mira, Amir
I knew you were
Khan.
gonna say Amir Khan. I
Listen,
knew you were
Amir
fucking say
Khan,
Amir Khan.
his biggest downfall was he couldn't take a punch, bro. Ese tipo tenía un chin de vidrio, loco.
That was
Tú lo
Amir
tocabas
Khan.
para el piso. He got knocked out nasty by el cubano Gamboa. Y Gamboa es otro boxeador que en verdad, mano, I had high expectations for him porque tenía un estilo bien stylish, bro. Tacho, bro, lo cogieron y me lo descabronaron todo.
Yo tengo una duda. Cuando Pacquiao estaba peleando en serio, en su momento, él no iba a tener una pelea contra McGregor o Mayweather, algo así.
Mayweather.
Mayweather.
Pero nunca pelearon, ¿o sí?
Sí.
Floyd,
Y Mayweather
Floyd that boy.
Yeah, he
gave him the work.
on him. To be fair, he
gave him
also
that
had a shoulder injury, but he was still gonna lose that fight.
Hey.
Even if he was well conditioned, he would have still lost it because he didn't have an answer to Mayweather's defense, bro. And Mayweather's counter, that was literally what put the nail on the coffin for Pacquiao. Is every time Pacquiao would come in, Mayweather would counter. You just couldn't hit him.
So you want to know how crazy Floyd defense is? That he made Canelo look like Canelo was a bit. True, he was young.
Kid.
Yo vi
He was a
esa.
young
Esa la
Pero,
vi.
and he
Pero
Eso lo
made
vi.
that boy look like a baby. Don't You're
no, no, no,
not
no.
supposed to be up here with me. That's how he made Canelo look. I'm
He
sorry
did.
to tell
He
you,
did.
Canelo couldn't hit him. He looked slow versus Floyd, and Floyd was
He wasn't ready
putting
for
on
it.
a
I'll never
clinic.
forget when
What I
Floyd
will
was
say,
fighting. Go ahead.
Malami, I crunch real quick before I forget this. But what I will say is that was a big determining factor in Canelo's career because you seen the shift. You seen him adapt that same defensive style and became literally he's about to become the richest boxer in history. He's about to be a billionaire.
So the crazy thing is, if you look at the fight where he fought Floyd and saw where Floyd was moving left to right, the head movement, all
His
that,
shoulder.
and then you actually see Canelo after that fight, where people are throwing punches at him, and
Y no le
he's
pueden
using
dar.
Ujú.
that same head movement that he used against him. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That
Yo
shit was
recuerdo
fire.
un frame que sacaron de esas peleas que él venía entrando un golpe y él literalmente echó para atrás, miró cómo el golpe pasó y volvió a entrar.
Sí,
Yeah,
sí,
bro.
le queda cabrón.
Yo creo
Ahora,
que he demonstrated how good of a boxer he is, that he was able to learn from that, take it, and master it. Because he really did. He really
yeah.
mastered that style of boxing, bro.
Well, the cool thing, and look, this is what people don't understand about Canelo. This is why Canelo is so great. What people don't understand, Canelo throws hard shots all the time, right? But he doesn't give a fuck where he hits you. He hits you in your arms, in your hands, por aquí, por aquí, por aquí. He keeps punching your arm and your arm, and then you hear the guys that fought him afterwards, and they're like, "Yo, my arms were so tired to
Mm.
to come up, and it's because he beats the shit out their
Yeah, bro.
arms,
Te
their
machuca.
chest. But yeah, so he makes the guys that were cuando tan cuadrado be like, "Tacho."
Como, hey, como se monta el nene, ¿ah?
Sí, te decía así que quiere que te hagan a ti, que te machuquen.
Cabrón.
To me, I have a question for everybody here, and I know Fran doesn't know much about boxing, but still, who's your goat? Because everybody has a goat, and I just want to figure out who's everybody's goat here. We'll start with you, Les.
Rocky.
Rocky hey,
Cabrón.
Rocky was my favorite when I was growing up. Y'all don't understand. I used to watch that shit.
The thing
That's what.
is, it's like if we're talking about people who I got to see fighting, I gotta go with
Popeye.
Trinidad, bro. Trinidad, es que mano, to this day, bro. Like sometimes I watch videos of him, like fights, just to like showing my son, how that guy was in the ring, bro. And to this day, I still have the same wow factor. I'm like, damn, and I've seen that a few times already. Pero if we're talking about all time, like just looking at some of the old fights and his record, man, bro, that's a tough one, man. I'm gonna keep it at Trinidad, bro, because I don't want to complicate it. But Trinidad was my goat.
How about you, Crunch?
I'm going Iron Mike Tyson. That
Mike
That's an
motherfucker.
Tyson.
honorable one.
Oreja.
That
I
That's an
mean,
motherfucker
honorable
was
one.
special. When I was a kid, I used to remember because they would order the fights, and even at a young age, you knew it was tight. He was a savage. Like I can remember those fights. Yeah, I remember the ear stuff and everything like that. But cocaine's a hell of a drug, so things
It is,
happen.
yeah.
But
nah,
Mike
he was
Tyson,
special when he was younger
it
with that
animal.
coach.
His
Oh, it
peekaboo
was just
style.
that was just straight animal. Now watching that I was older for me that I can like be more coherent. I love me some Oscar De La Hoya. He come with that left hook,
This
put
shit
you to
was
sleep.
tough too.
Huh?
I'm sorry to tell you,
Of course.
he's weird now
Fishnet,
too.
perico.
Yeah, he's
I'll
definitely
pass on
weird
that one.
because
He's weird
you,
right now,
I
but
don't. No. Let me tell you, Crunch. He's definitely weird because I don't know if y'all saw that he had the fishnet on. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
then he got onto Shannon Sharp and was like, "Nah, they drugged me. No fui yo."
the
A
ab
week
implant,
later,
the
he
ab
comes out
implant.
en una tanga de su mujer, el cabrón. I said,
Ujú.
"There's no way." That a week
No,
before you on Shannon Sharp saying, "Yo, me drogaron,"
but
and
fighting
then
though.
next week you
En
in a
su
thong.
defensa, si te llegan 5 mujeres así, yo también dejo que me droguen.
But I'm talking
Y
about
te
the
pongan
fighting.
una tanga, Frank.
That fighting.
Ya
You
la
remember
tiene
Idol?
puesta.
Yeah.
Idol, you remember
Don't.
that shit?
Tú sabes que de
You
aquí
remember
para
that
abajo yo
shit?
no tengo nada.
Y'all remember that shit when
Well,
Oscar was gonna fight? Those fights were fucking wars, and Oscar would drop you that left. It was just. I personally
He
believe he
nah,
beat Nito.
Nah, you tripping.
nah.
Nah. Hey,
That's
¿cómo,
my
cómo
real
la
thought.
apago
He ran
cómo la
like
apago la
like
cámara aquí a Crunch?
like Devin Haney. He ran like Devin Haney the last fight. Stop playing,
He
bro.
got
That
spanked, bro.
whole so I give you those first 3-4 rounds, Crunch. Absolutely, he won. But after that fourth round, that nigga was on his skates the whole rest of the fight.
He felt
He
that
was,
power.
I'm a maniac, maniac, and he took
Él
off, boy.
estaba como
I would
la
say
de
till about
Rivals
round
que
6.
baila.
Like round 6, I
Hasta que
agree.
le gusta Jairo.
Like, I personally thought he run at least the first 6 rounds. At least. That was just for me.
That boy was jogging those
But
rounds,
the
boy.
truth is, though, but if you
Running.
look at
I keep
any
running,
Mayweather
running,
fight, it was
keep
one of those.
running. And my boy was running, boy. Stop playing.
But then they got savages
Now,
like B Hop too. B Hop was an executioner.
B
I
Hop
will
fucked them both up.
I'm gonna say something very controversial here. And if you haven't seen it, I challenge you to go watch this fight again carefully. The only fight in history as a professional fighter that I think, and I can say with confidence, Mayweather lost was with Zab Judah. It's the only guy who was able to match and supersede Mayweather's speed. His
So
speed was
you're wrong.
unremarkable, bro.
You're
I'm
you're
telling you,
wrong.
bro, I've seen that fight.
The one
Shane
that
fight.
he lost, and I don't care what nobody says, is Luis Castillo versus
Oh
Floyd
yeah, the
Mayweather
Castillo
Jr.
fight.
If
Yeah,
you
he
want to
lost.
look at that one,
That was a
fight,
close one.
That one, it wasn't close. Castillo had him on the ropes the whole time, beating up his body, beating up his face. If
Yeah.
you look, he was smothering him. He showed the blueprint of what Floyd didn't want. That's why if you look at the Madanana fight, whatever his name is,
You're right.
he
You're
was
right. Yeah.
smothering, and it was just
He
it
almost.
looked similar
Even the Oscar
to the
fight.
You're right.
When
Castillo fight.
Oscar did the same shit too. He got on his ass
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
So that was what Floyd didn't like, when people smothered him and kept him where he couldn't do the whole Philly
Move.
shuffle. I said he
Rope-a-dope.
definitely
Nah,
yeah,
it
he
was pitter
definitely
patter
kept
punch
it.
with Oscars, the little tap, 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 but I agree with you.
That's a good point. That's a good point to point out because when he fought Maidana really put it on him, bro. Y lo tenía desesperado, bro. He couldn't. He would try to move and Maidana would push him back into the ropes. You ain't going nowhere. Y le tiraba puño así, loco. Unos puños locos, pero they were landing, bro.
My favorite Mayweather clip is when his uncle, God rest his soul, because that was a hell of a trainer. His uncle slaps Floyd, I think it was like round 4 or 5 when he's fighting Cotto. And he goes, son, do not stand and train with this man. He is bigger than you. He will knock you out. Because Floyd, when he got cocky, like he would go, and Cotto was doing the same thing. And when his own uncle told him, you need to stop, all of a sudden Floyd went to that straight, that shell defense. But for like
He
that
beat the shit out of
moment,
Cotto, though.
Yeah, no.
He embarrassed Cotto,
he
bro.
just-
He embarrassed
he
Cotto, bro.
didn't. No, he didn't.
From the 6th round all the way up, Cotto looked bad, bro.
This is where you're wrong, brother. If you look at Floyd Mayweather's face,
Yes.
the only person to beat up Floyd Mayweather's face
Cotto.
is Miguel Cotto. Look at all of Floyd's fights. Look at his face.
No, I'm
after
not saying he didn't have his highlight in the match because he definitely did.
You want to know the crazy thing? They asked Floyd who was the person that hit him the hardest, and he even said it was Miguel Cotto.
Yep. Even
He
Roger
was the
Mayweather,
one that said,
his uncle says when he if you
Papi,
watch
que
it,
le tocaste la casa a Jairo.
Sí.
Nah,
No,
you
pero
already
pero
know.
yo no estoy.
El mío,
Aquí
you don't know, I was screaming,
en la patria.
screaming.
Mira,
You already
escucha, yo no estoy diciendo. I'm not saying that he didn't have his highlight. He did, but
De que perdió, yeah, pero he didn't lose by a wide margin. That's where you're confused.
Mayweather in that fight was able to show how you adapt and dominate the rest of the fight because that's what he did. He adapted, and that was it.
He but this is why he's one of the greats. This is we're talking about Floyd Mayweather. Nobody beat Floyd.
One of the smartest
Everybody
boxers,
Floyd
looked
man.
for
Mayweather. Floyd
everybody looked
Mayweather
for a
listens
blueprint to
too.
beat Floyd.
Think about the information he did. Like he listened, like Floyd, when he trusts his, like when he listened exactly verbatim, because he loved his uncle more than his dad. Let's be real.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but when his uncle told him, he fucking listened. He adjusted, and his uncle told him exactly what to do, and he listened. So it's like you need a whole team to win. It's not like just one or two things. But that's why, like when his uncle passed away, that shit hit him hard. Like that shit was devastating, like bad. And then when he got sick first, you could see it affected Floyd, and it helped him
Yeah.
rekindle with his dad. But even Floyd says, like, without his uncle, he's not who he is.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I gotta put Floyd as one of the goats. One of like everybody shits on him, whatever. But to me,
Ah,
Floyd fought all the champions, bro. He didn't sleep on nobody. He didn't run from nobody.
Hey,
Yo, if you was a champion,
he
I'm
knew what he
fighting
was
you.
doing.
he
Yeah,
fight
he
him,
knew
yeah.
what he had to do.
You know, one fighter that I think we left out here, and he's definitely before our time, but bro, he was one of the greats. El mexicano este, ¿cómo se llama él?
Julio Cesar Chavez.
Julio Cesar Chavez, bro. That guy
Oh
was
yeah, yeah.
something else, bro.
He was a
Something
demon. Yeah,
else,
yeah. He
man.
Chavez
was
Senior.
definitely a demon.
Ese
And
tipo era un
he's
animal.
another one.
Bro, he went like
He's definitely
he
got
went
to
like
go
80 fights without losing. It's
83.
crazy, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
83, yeah.
He went
83 fucking fights.
83-0, which is crazy as hell. You want to know how crazy this shit was? And I know Fran doesn't know, and I want to tell the little story. He was fighting a guy named Taylor, right? Un Moreno. And that Moreno was whooping his ass. I'm talking about beating the shit out of Julio Cesar Chavez from round 1 to round 12. And in the last fucking 20 seconds of the fight, this nigga hits him with a combination, wobbles him, and drops him.
Yep.
Boom. Last 10 seconds, finished him where he couldn't get up. Yo, one of the best comeback fights that I've
In
ever
history,
seen
yeah.
ever, period. It was literally like at the last round, last 20 seconds, and he dropped him and finished the fight. Crazy, crazy. He's definitely a legend. He fought past his prime too. It's what I tell everybody. I hate that fighters do that.
Yeah.
That
You
they
gotta be
fight
like,
past their prime. Mike Tyson did that.
Because of the
he's
money.
like
The
Hearn.
Holyfield did that. And all these fighters like to do that. And I feel like they once we drop a few fights, I know this is all you know because that is all they know. I feel like they tarnish their record
Yeah.
and tarnish their legacy like that, you know?
You gotta be
Um,
like, what's his face? What is it? Was it Marvin Hagler or Tommy Hearns? He just said, you know what? I'm out.
This
yeah,
guy,
yeah,
what's
one
his
of them.
name, Heido? He very old boxer, way before Muhammad Ali. Sugar something, man.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray Robinson. This guy went 100 and something fights without losing, lost one, and then went another 50 matches without losing. Bro, ridiculous, bro,
But that was what
ridiculous,
you talking
man.
about, the 80s?
Man, brother, this was like
No,
in the
Sugar Ray
30s, bro,
Robinson.
or the
Oh,
Nah,
you
he
40s.
talking
was
about?
in
Oh
the
yeah,
50s. Yeah, 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 50s.
no, because
Yeah,
the
it
other
was.
Sugar
Listen,
Ray I know is Sugar Ray Leonard, right?
No, not
yeah,
Sugar
yeah,
Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray Leonard's in the 80s, Crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
Sugar
that's
Ray
Leonard and then
Robinson,
Roberto
and I'm not
Duran,
gonna lie, I don't want to
Robinson
say is
Hagler.
this, but Sugar Ray Robinson was fighting. He was the first Moreno,
Yeah.
big stocky Moreno fighting these white kids. He
And
was taxing their ass. He was
to, and to be
he was
fair,
making
to
sure.
be
You
fair,
know what, motherfucker?
to be fair, that was the era in which they fought like this.
Nah, he was beating the brakes off of those cats.
He was. But
He was beating the brakes.
there was a lot of Italian boxers back then that were really, really good.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, I'm not taking nothing away. Sugar Ray Robinson's one of the greatest. He's also
Yeah.
on the Mount Rushmore. He was fighting everybody and anybody. Everybody was getting that ass taxed.
I mean, this
Uh,
man was fighting what, like three, 4 times a month, maybe more.
yeah, yeah, he was.
It's
And back
crazy.
then, that shit was no rounds. That
Nah,
shit
yeah.
was.
Eran 20 rounds eran o eran 16,
Yeah,
algo
yeah,
así.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That shit was OP. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
that
shit
shit
must
was
was
have
a
gone
lot of
crazy.
20
rounds.
rounds too.
But there's only one person that I've ever seen hurt Floyd Mayweather though, which is Shane Mosley.
Yeah.
That
Say
fucking
Mosley
I heard that
rocked his
shit.
ass.
Rocked him.
I thought it,
He
and
rocked the
Rocked him.
technically
shit
He
he's
out of
right.
his
buckled. He was
ass.
like,
They should
"Oh
have counted that.
shit!"
Yeah, they should have counted as a knockdown, but they didn't because he fucking
No,
buckled and he
he
was well
grabbed
touched.
nah, but
Oh no, that
he
was the other.
grabbed
He
the
Yeah,
did what
hold
he was
of his
supposed to
arm.
do. He did
He
what he was
grabbed the
supposed to
shit
do.
out of him. Come here, baby.
That's what you do, bro. And if you about to go down, you better bear hug the shit out that motherfucker.
So again, talking about his adaptation,
That was one.
he got rocked. That Shane Mosley was a lot faster in the beginning, and he slowed the pace down, and then he put on a masterpiece.
Yeah, he did.
He he put a ass whooping, belt to ass, bang bang bang, pela,
I got a question.
Martillazo.
So
martillazo lo que hay.
for the person who don't watch boxing, what was the last boxing fight you saw, Fran?
La que te puedo decir completa, creo que fue la de Mayweather contra.
That's cap. That's cap. You can't say that. We watch boxing together, brother.
That's true. That's true. La
You
vimos por
watch boxing with me.
Discord. La vimos por Discord.
You can't
Yeah.
say that. We watch
Which
¿Eso
one
no era
was that
UFC?
fight?
¿Eso no era UFC?
So we watch UFC, but we also watch the Ryan Garcia fight, the one versus Devin Haney that he beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
No me acuerdo.
No, we watched that
Sí,
one
pero
together.
la vimos por
Yeah.
Discord, yeah. La vimos por
Yeah, we
Discord.
watched-
Que hasta
that was
dejamos de
last year,
jugar y
brother.
todo.
Yeah,
The reason I bring
last
that
year.
up is because look
No
at
me
this.
acuerdo.
The reason why I bring it up is because look at that.
This nigga eating.
He remembered the stars. There is no big stars. Look, he remembered the fucking Floyd Mayweather. Nigga, I'm in the car. I've been seeing people looking at me for like the last 30 minutes.
Este cabrón está haciendo, ¿cómo que se llama eso? SMR.
Sí, sí.
I was gonna say, Crunch, I know you think you chewing slow, but since that shit on your ear,
Ahorita se escucha el gluck, 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 gluck.
My bad, y'all.
Oh, shit.
No, pero les iba a preguntar, ¿cómo ven ustedes el panorama del boxeo actualmente? Porque de
Malo.
verdad yo no he escuchado mucho al respecto.
It's
O
rough.
sea,
It is rough
Yo
as
digo-
shit, but I would say this is rough right now. I give credit to the quote-unquote YouTube fighters because they keeping it relevant, so they have their place. Because if it wasn't for that, but that's what's wrong because your old head ass doesn't adapt to the sport.
No,
If
Crunch.
we
They
stick
need to
with
go to
what you
wrestling
have-
with that, Crunch, where the acting is allowed.
so I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, Buddy. So yeah, they're making money off the
Mhm.
boxing, right? But to me, if you want to prove yourself as a boxer, like Jake Paul does, fight a boxer, brother.
Mhm.
Yeah, no.
Don't fight these old men. Don't fight
Yeah.
Mike Tyson, a 60-year-old boxer.
I agree
Don't
with what
fight
you're saying.
Anderson Silva, that's a retired UFC fighter. Don't knock out Tyrone Woodley, that's an old UFC fighter.
No.
Don't knock out Nate Robinson, that's a basketball player, brother. What are you talking about? Like,
Look,
But I'm
here's what
trying
I
to
say.
understand for the entertainment, but
Yo lo que digo en ese aspecto. To answer your question, Crunch, I would give anything to go back to the HBO days, the Star days. That's when boxing was great. When boxing went into this whole new streaming phase and they started, mira, se perdió. And they started to integrate it with these YouTubers, se fue a ajuste el boxeo, cabrón.
por eso te pregunto, porque últimamente y bueno, ya tienen ya varios años haciendo esto. Tienen como 5 años más o menos. Pero hay peleas de boxeo de youtubers y streamers y tal, que más que todo las hacen en España y tal. Pero igual, esa gente llena el Bernabéu, ¿me entiendes? Que son un montón de personas. Pero aparte de que son aficionados y cosas así, hay mucha gente que no le gusta porque dicen que están tomando el boxeo como si fuese un chiste y tal. Yo siento que a pesar de todo le están dando visibilidad al boxeo. Cosa que no se ve mucho ahorita, ¿me entiendes? A pesar de que sean peleas, me atrevería a decir inferiores que amateur. So, por eso no sé qué piensan ustedes sobre eso. ¿Cómo ven eso?
It's
So the
become the
thing
new
is-
WWE.
nah, but they're definitely bringing in money. That I will say, because I'm not going to lie to you. Netflix made a lot of money off of Jake Paul, Mike
Yeah.
Tyson. And that was a 60-year-old man versus that was a sanctioned abuso. We allowed a senior citizen to get his ass whooped by a 28-year-old, and everybody in the world sat down and put on Netflix to watch him get
Yeah.
his ass kicked,
Ujú.
me included. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're definitely bringing visibility to the sport, but not all visibility is great
Yeah.
visibility. You know, like I thought it was gonna be a better fight, but when I saw El Abuso that was actually the fight, I was like, man, how did we allow this to happen? It, his leg looked off. It did not look like Mike Tyson. It was just an old man fighting against a 28-year-old, you know?
He
And
looked like he
all
was
respect
hurting
to
too.
yeah, yeah, and all respect to Mike Tyson, he's a GOAT. He's one of the best to ever do it. But fighting Jake Paul for that 20 mil, I would have sat in that bitch for 1 mil. So I can only imagine 20 mil, you know? And I probably think the same way when I'm 62. I probably you give me 20 mil, I'm going in the ring with anybody. I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck
My
who it
whole
is.
phone crashed,
We
brothers.
going
I
in.
don't know what happened.
It's all good. It's showing
The
like you got 27% internet.
the good news
That's what
is
it is.
your video looks better.
Yeah,
Sí.
no, legit. My whole thing crashed. My phone reset, and I'm like, I was mid sentence, and it just went. I'm like, oh.
Eso fue el viro ese, se te fue ya.
Es que igual te pregunto más que todo porque ustedes saben qué es la velada. No sé si han escuchado la velada.
The viewing?
No. Eso es un evento que hacen en España normalmente. Se hizo en México hace un tiempo. Que ustedes, no sé si escucharon cuándo fue que Will Smith volvió a cantar, que lo hizo como en un evento grande y
Oh,
no sé
yeah, yeah,
qué.
yeah, yeah,
Bueno,
yeah.
fue en este evento, ¿me entiendes? Que básicamente ponen a boxear a gente que tiene de entrenamiento de boxeo tipo 6 meses, 8 meses, una cosa así. Y todos son streamers, todos son youtubers y tal. Obviamente se llena el evento por esos mismos, esas mismas personas que van a competir ahí, no precisamente porque sea boxeo, pero hay mucha gente diciendo que a pesar de eso, sí sería bueno o sí es bueno que se siga haciendo porque se le da como visibilidad al boxeo, pero
Publicity, yeah, yeah, yeah.
no es gente que va a seguir practicando boxeo, ¿me entiendes?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I
I
just think
mean,
that in that situation, people are not tuning in with the mindset of, oh, I want to see what's happening in boxing. I want to see who's up and coming. They're tuning in because what? Jake Paul is fighting Tyson? Nah, I gotta see this shit.
But the
but I will say
undercard, what's
this.
her face?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, Cat Ochocinco, that motherfucker put on a show. My boy dropped a actual boxer. Tad Ochocinco fought an amateur boxer and dropped his ass. I'm talking about you could tell Ochocinco got hands.
He from
I
Miami,
Like
gotta
dog.
start walking, boys.
he put them hands on him for real, for sure.
You see what he
La
told?
dice,
You see what he told homeboy in that interview? He was like, "I'll whoop your ass for real." He was like, "You must not know about me."
Yeah.
la
No,
dice
tell her
como
I
si
gotta start
hubiese
walking
nacido en
quick.
Miami.
No, pero
Tú
yo
sabes
yo sé
que,
que lo
tú
digo,
sabes
La
papi.
así que,
que,
Miami, papá.
Miami.
tú sabes, él es cubano de Miami, papi. Aunque es
You,
puertorriqueño, criado de Puerto Rico, pero
you
él
know,
es de Miami.
you know what time it is when we rocking them black forces. Niggas getting stomped out. It's like up north niggas in Tim's. Oh, shit. Bueno, mi gente, creo que con eso hacemos el resumen del video. Ya estamos, creo que en casi
¿Son ideas mías
50.
o las parece que se hubiese pintado la calva de amarillo?
La calva. A ver.
Míralo,
¿Qué
míralo,
dice
Con
míralo.
esta?
bebé.
No, la del bicho, claro.
Me pensé que decía la del. No, es que yo no tengo
Hey,
pantalones puestos.
hey, you're gonna cut this part out, but we playing after this or no?
Seguro.
Sí, yo estoy aquí esperando.
All right, so let's
Ese quiere
close it
jugar
out.
Call of Duty.
All right,
No,
fellas.
vamos a dar las rivals.
Bueno, mi gente, that is it for this video. Hey, if we didn't mention your top boxer, go ahead and drop that in the comments below. A little bit of a different format from what we usually do, but I think this actually worked out pretty well, fellas.
Yes,
Oh
sir.
yeah, dude.
¿Ya? Me
But yeah,
gustó la aplicación. Se ve bien. Se ve
smooth
chévere.
too.
Yeah,
Bueno,
yeah, it looks decent.
the
I
audio.
apologize for a bad signal.
GG's Crunch. Well, we're gonna go ahead and drop it there, guys. Go ahead and follow us as well on
Pero el estaba
Instagram.
secuestrado.
Hey, don't forget, press play.